Ladies and gentlemen, here's the speech in the style you're asking for without mentioning any specific names or adding headings and conclusions. There are things in life deeply personal and sacred that must remain guarded. Not because you're hiding, but because you're protecting what God has placed inside you. Too often we feel the pull to showcase every moment, every triumph, every struggle. But let me tell you something, not everything is meant to be placed on the altar of public opinion. Some things are designed to grow in silence, to thrive away from prying eyes, to be nurtured in the secret place where only God and you reside. You see, when you expose what isn't ready, you risk destroying it. A seed doesn't need an audience to sprout, it needs soil, darkness, and time. When you pull it out prematurely, it withers. That's how our lives are. There are aspects of us that need the hidden space, the unseen development, so they can flourish when the time is right. There are moments in life where the enemy doesn't attack what he sees, he attacks what he hears. He doesn't need to know the fullness of your plan, he just needs a whisper to disrupt it. Some of you are losing battles because you're revealing strategies to people who aren't even on your team. Guard your heart, guard your mind, guard your vision. Not everyone clapping for you is cheering for you. Some of them are clapping just to drown out the sound of their jealousy. And let me talk to the ones who feel the need to prove themselves to the world. You don't owe anybody an explanation for why God is blessing you, why you're walking in favor, why you've decided to take the path less traveled. Sometimes the most powerful statement you can make is your silence. Let your results speak for you. Let your growth, your joy, your peace, and your prosperity do the talking. You don't need to post it, you don't need to shout it, you don't need to argue with anyone who doubts you. Your life, when it's aligned with purpose, becomes its own testimony. Some of you are pouring out all your oil for people who are never going to invest in you. They'll take what you give, leave you empty, and move on. Your oil is precious. Don't squander it on people who don't recognize its value. And your ideas are valuable. Your dreams are valuable. Your peace of mind is valuable. Don't cast your pearls before swine. Some people aren't meant to have access to the fullness of you, and that's okay. It doesn't make you selfish, it makes you wise. Now listen to me closely. When you start to elevate, when you start to rise, the air gets thinner. The voices get quieter. The crowd gets smaller. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because the level you're stepping into requires a new kind of discipline, a new kind of focus, a new kind of discretion. Eagles don't flock, they soar. So stop worrying about who left, who doesn't understand, who isn't cheering. You weren't called to live your life for their approval. You were called to live your life for purpose. What God has placed in you is too precious to be mishandled. You can't allow everyone access to your process. You can't share your vision with people who lack the capacity to comprehend it. Some of you are frustrated because you're trying to make people see what God only showed you. It's not their fault they don't understand. It wasn't meant for them, it was meant for you. So stop wasting your energy trying to explain, trying to justify, trying to gain their approval. Walk in your calling and trust that when the time is right, everything will align. There is power in moving in silence. Not every blessing needs a billboard. Not every breakthrough needs a broadcast. Sometimes the most profound victories are the ones that happen in private, where it's just you and God. The world doesn't need to know the details of your deliverance. They just need to see the evidence of it. Let your life be the proof that God is good. Let your walk be the testimony that He is faithful. You don't need to explain the how or the why to anyone. Just live it. There's a reason why Jesus told people to go in their closet to pray. There's a reason why He withdrew to quiet places to commune with God. Some of the most transformative moments of your life won't happen in the spotlight. They'll happen in the shadows, in the stillness, in the places where it's just you, your creator, and your purpose. Cherish those moments. Guard them fiercely. They're the foundation upon which everything else is built. Don't let the pressure of this loud world force you to unveil what isn't ready. There is wisdom in waiting. There is strength in staying hidden until it's time to shine. Diamonds don't form in the... There is a sacred power in keeping certain things private, a divine strength that comes from understanding what should be shared and what must be held close. In a world obsessed with broadcasting every moment, every decision, every move, we have lost sight of the value of discretion. Privacy is not about secrecy or shame, it's about protection. It's about understanding the profound truth that not everything and everyone deserves access to the deepest parts of you. Think about the process of creation, the way God forms life itself. When a child is conceived, the womb becomes a place of hidden growth, a shield of privacy that allows the miracle of life to take shape. The womb doesn't announce its work. It doesn't need an audience to validate its process. It simply does what it was designed to do in the quiet and the secret, so that when the time comes for the child to be born, the world witnesses something fully formed, fully alive, and ready to thrive. And that is how we must learn to live. There are parts of your life, parts of your soul, parts of your vision that must be guarded like a womb. These are the dreams that are too tender, the plans that are too fragile, and the relationships that are too valuable to be exposed to the harsh elements of public scrutiny. Privacy gives them the chance to grow without interference, without judgment, without the weight of opinions that don't belong to the process God has begun in you. There is power in silence. When you're working on something great, when God has planted a seed of vision in your heart, the urge to announce it, to show it off, to gather applause can be strong. But let me remind you, applause doesn't sustain the process. Applause doesn't build the foundation. Applause doesn't nurture the dream. What sustains the process is focus. What builds the foundation is discipline. What nurtures the dream is the quiet work done in the unseen hours where no one is watching but God. When you share too much too soon, you invite unnecessary weight into your process. People will offer their opinions, their doubts, their criticisms. Some will misunderstand your vision. Others will try to shape it according to their preferences. And before you know it, what was once clear in your heart becomes clouded by the noise of others. That's why privacy is powerful. It preserves the purity of what God has given you until it's strong enough to stand on its own. Even Jesus understood this principle. He often withdrew from the crowd, seeking solitude, seeking time away from the opinions and expectations of others. Why? Because he knew that his purpose was too sacred to be shaped by public opinion. He knew that what God had placed inside him required moments of privacy, moments of reflection, moments where the only voice he heard was the voice of his Father. You don't owe everyone an explanation for what God is doing in your life. You don't have to broadcast every breakthrough, every idea, every challenge. Some things are meant to be between you and God. Because the moment you expose them to the world, you risk subjecting them to pressures they weren't designed to withstand. So we live in an age where transparency is often celebrated above wisdom. People think that if they're not sharing every detail of their journey, they're somehow not being authentic. But authenticity isn't about oversharing, it's about living in alignment with your purpose. And sometimes living authentically means choosing to remain silent, choosing to keep certain things private until the time is right. Privacy protects your energy. When you allow too many people into the intimate spaces of your life, you spread yourself too thin. You start to pour energy into managing opinions, addressing misunderstandings, and explaining things to people who may never fully understand your vision. But when you protect your privacy, you conserve your energy for what truly matters. You channel it into the work, into the process, into the purpose. And let me tell you something, people can't attack what they don't know about. When you keep certain aspects of your life private, you shield them from unnecessary battles. You shield them from the envy of those who can't handle your progress. You shield them from the sabotage of those who don't want to see you succeed. Privacy is a fortress that guards your purpose, your peace, and your progress. It's not just about protecting your plans, it's also about protecting your peace. The more you share, the more you invite noise into your life. Then that noise can drown out the still small voice of God. When you're constantly seeking validation from others, you can miss the affirmation that comes from within. When you're always looking for applause, you can miss the quiet approval of the one who matters most. You don't need to explain yourself to everyone. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone. Let your work speak for itself when the time comes. Let your results be the evidence of your diligence, your faith, and your focus. But until that time comes, keep the sacred parts of your journey private. Let them grow in the secret place. The world doesn't need to know everything. Some victories are meant to be celebrated in private. Some struggles are meant to be fought in silence. Some prayers are meant to be whispered where only God can hear. This isn't about isolation, it's about intimacy. It's about understanding that not every part of your life is for public consumption. When you keep certain things private, you also give yourself the freedom to evolve without the pressure of expectations. People will try to box you into their understanding of who you are based on the pieces of your life they've seen. But when you guard your privacy, you give yourself room to grow, to change, to become all that God has called you to be without the weight of their opinions holding you back. There is wisdom in knowing what to share and when to share it. Timing is everything. A gift revealed too early can be wasted. But a gift revealed at the right time can change the world. That's why you must trust the process, trust the timing, and trust that God knows when and how to bring what's inside you into the light. So guard your dreams, guard your plans, guard your relationships, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. Not out of mistrust, but out of understanding that some things are too sacred to be exposed before their time. To remember, even diamonds are formed in the depths of the earth, far away from the eyes of the world. Their beauty, their brilliance, their value, none of it is diminished by the fact that they were created in secret. In fact, that creation in hidden places is what makes them so extraordinary. Learn to embrace the beauty of privacy. Not everything needs an audience. Not every moment needs applause. Let your life unfold as it was designed to in its own time, in its own way, and under the guidance of the one who gave it to you. So what's meant to be seen will be seen. What's meant to be known will be known. But until then, protect what's sacred, nurture what's growing, and trust that the silence is where the magic happens. Here's the expanded version of the second keynote in the requested style. Timing is everything. When you look at life, when you look at success, when you look at the way things grow and manifest, you'll find that timing is often the invisible force shaping outcomes. It's not just about what you have or even how well you use it. It's about when you release it, when you reveal it, when you decide the world is ready to see what you've been working on in the secret places. There is a profound truth about timing that many people miss. Exposing something too early can cause more harm than good. The right thing at the wrong time becomes a disaster. Look at nature. A fruit isn't plucked before it's ripe. A caterpillar doesn't break out of its cocoon until the wings have been fully formed. A flower doesn't bloom until the conditions are just right. So all of creation is governed by timing, and when we ignore it, we invite chaos into what was meant to be orderly. There's a season for everything, and understanding that is the key to unlocking the full potential of what God has placed inside you. Some of us are so eager to show the world what we're carrying that we forget the importance of preparation. When you expose a dream, a plan, or a vision before it's ready, you subject it to forces it wasn't designed to handle. The scrutiny, the criticism, the doubt, it can all overwhelm something that hasn't yet developed the strength to stand on its own. Timing is not about delay, it's about preparation. It's about allowing the process to do its work so that when the time comes, you're not just ready to show up, you're ready to stand firm, unshaken and unbothered by what the world throws at you. There is a reason why God doesn't reveal everything to you all at once. It's not because he's withholding, it's because he knows that some things require time to mature. Some things need to be protected until they've grown strong enough to survive in the open. God works in seasons, and each season has its purpose. There is a planting season, a watering season, a growing season, and then only then a harvesting season. If you try to harvest in the planting season, you'll end up with nothing. If you try to grow in the harvesting season, you'll miss the opportunity. Timing ensures that everything unfolds as it was meant to, in the way it was meant to, and at the moment it was meant to. We live in a world that glorifies instant results, where patience is often seen as a weakness. People want everything now. They want the success, the accolades, the recognition. But let me tell you something, anything worth having takes time. And anything built to last takes time. You don't rush greatness, you don't force it, you let it develop, let it evolve, let it become everything it was destined to be. And that requires trust. Trust in the process, trust in God's timing, trust that what's for you will never pass you by. When you move too soon, you risk collapsing under the weight of what you weren't ready to carry. A dream revealed too early can crumble under the pressure of expectations. A plan exposed